Hello, everyone.
Hi, good evening, Rolf. How are you?
Hello, Louis. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank
Family,
you, Rolf.
everywhere.
Everything's
Good.
fine.
We just will join, and then we'll see. Oh, how was your Shabbos? How's everyone?
It was a lovely Shabbos, thank you.
Good. I see that Gabriel is with us. Gabriel, Bruchim Habayim. How are you doing? Hello, Iva. It's good to see you all. It's nice to see you with us. Good. We'll wait another few seconds. We just give a chance for more people to join us, and then we'll start the show.
Okay.
Let's just see trying to joining us. Yep. Otherwise, what's happened, Louis? Tell me what's news.
I'm waiting to hear this week. I'm hoping to hear the news. I'll let you know as soon as I hear it.
Be'ezrat Hashem. Be'ezrat Hashem should be good news. But otherwise, you're busy? Are you busy?
No, not busy at all. Just waiting. Once this comes through, then I'll be very busy.
I'm sure. It's quite a big job, huh?
Yeah, it's a big one. It'll be 193 units.
Baruch Hashem, no, that will keep you busy for a long time, huh?
Only 1 year.
Yeah, but this is one job. In the meantime, you'll get more jobs. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, Hashem, I'd like to get some more jobs.
Be'ezrat Hashem, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
so I think that we're going to start the show because we're already 3 minutes after. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mute everyone, and we're going to start the show, Be'ezrat Hashem. Okay, everyone is muted, and we're going to start the show. So today, the subject of the show that we're going to speak, I'm going to speak about something that is very common, that many of us know about it, but do we understand what we're doing it? So first of all, I would like to dedicate the show tonight in memory of my late mom, Esther Kaden Bat Ketia, that's her yortzeit tonight. So please God, the Torah, Divrei Torah that we sang, it will be in lifting up her memory. Leilui Nishmat Tamara Bat Zehava, Leilui Nishmat Arav Avraham Haim Ben Eliezer Yaakov, Mordechai Ben Rahma, ואסתר בת משה הלוי, נשמתם תהיה צרורה בצור החיים, ולרפואת ליאורה בת מרים, מנשה נג'י בן פרחה, הרב אברהם בן מרינה, הרב שלמה יהודה בן דליה, ליאורה בת מרים, אביבה בתיה בת שינה קהילה, חיה חפציבה בת שרה אימנו, דבורה בת אסתר, טלי אסתר בת ליאורה, בת אל בת ליאורה, ושאר כל חולי עמו ישראל בכל מקום שהם. Okay, so tonight we're going to speak.
Just one more, please. Moshe Meir ben Chana.
Let me write it, so I'll have it all the time. Moshe Meir
ben Chana.
Ben Chana.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay. God refuah shleim. Okay.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Okay. Sorry, I just put it down. I'm back with you. Okay. So we have a custom, but before, let me just explain. The subject of the show will be the importance of saying Mishna in honor of the deceased. We all know that there is a custom in a Jewish religion that lo alenu, in the house of the deceased, in the house of the mourner, when people come to daven, they also say Mishna after that between, and then they continue with Mincha Maariv. And we have to understand why. Why is it so important? Not only that, it's also important to learn Mishna all the 12 months from the day that the deceased dies until the end of the year. Not only that, on the day of the Yortzeit. So on a pshat of the Dvarim, as many of you know, it's not actually the pshat, on drash of the Dvarim, the Mahar Rabbi Chaim Vital, that born in Jerusalem 479 years ago, bringing his book Pri Etz Chaim, in Sha'ar Hagot, chapter 1, and also in Ta'amei Mitzvot of Vilna, in 640, page 92, there they explain that if you take the word Mishna and you turn the letters around, you'll get Neshama. You can get the word Neshama. That means when you're saying Mishnah, that will help to uplift the Neshama of the deceased. That's according to the Drash and the Pshat of the Dvarim. But Hazal explained to us in a Zohar Kadosh that when a person learns Mishnah in honor of the deceased, in honor in a Yortzeit, in a day of the Yortzeit, that Mishnah that he learned, it's actually polishing the Neshama. And we have to understand what it means polishing the Neshama. Now I'm speaking a bit high, but I'm going to try to bring it really down to earth that we all going to understand. And I'm going to try to translate and try to bring less the word of the Zohar. So those that I need to bring, I'll bring, but I'll translate it. And the Zohar explained like this. Hazal and the Zohar explain that when you study Mishnah in honor of the deceased, a matter of fact, that's polishing the Neshama. What it means, polishing the Neshama, we have to understand. So Hazal explained like this. There they explain that when a person lo alenu do averot, and who can say that he doesn't do averot? Everyone according to his level. Hazal say in their term, it's called klipot. Klipot, it's a shell. That means by that the person do avera, he actually created, he make him boundaries between him and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That means every avera that a person make, he creates another, he make the distance between him and HaKadosh Baruch Hu further away. Hazal say, but that you studying Mishnah, okay, you polishing the klipot. What it means polishing the klipot? You peeling those shells, that they are the walls that you created, the division that you create between you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that Mishnah actually peeling up all of the averot in our terms. That means when it says metzahtzachat et neshama, that means polishing the neshama, that means peeling the averot that the person creating. That means in the power of the Mishnah Rabotai, we see from the Zohar, is to get rid of averot that the person make. That's how Hazal in the Zohar explain. It's explained another thing in the Zohar, that the Zohar say that when a person learn Torah, okay, in honor of the deceased, listen to that, gorem lo nahat ruach. What it means, nahat ruach? It's the deceased get a great pleasure and a great satisfaction. Why? Because that satisfaction that he get help him to uplift him in Olam Haba. That means that the Mishnah that we're studying in honor of the deceased help the deceased to be uplifted in the world to come, in Olam Haba. Okay. I saw in the book Elef HaMagen. Elef HaMagen, it's a book that's been written by Rabbi Eliezer Papo. Rabbi Eliezer Papo, born in the city of Sarajevo. I mentioned him once or twice before. He born in Bosnia around 235 years ago. And in his book Elef HaMagen, he actually bring in the name of the Zohar, listen to that, in the name of Midrash Talpiot, and then in the name of another book, Mizbeach Yaakov, that they're all bringing in the name of Ari Kadosh. Listen to that. And they say like this, they mentioning in the name of Ari Kadosh, that Asher, the son of Yaakov Avinu, Asher sitting bepitha shel Gehenam. What it means? On a gate to Gehenam. And he said like this, whoever learn Mishnah, or a person saying Mishnah in honor of the deceased, okay, they taking his soul out of Gehenna. That means in the power of Asher to take those souls that have been sent to be laundered in Gehenna, because Gehenna is a laundry, pashut. It's not a punishment. Gehenna is a laundry. What it means a laundry, I will explain. When we do averot, we actually marking the neshama. The neshama get dirty. Gehenna is actually a polisher. It's a washing machine that laundry the neshama. Say Ari Kadosh, Rabbi Yitzhak Luria Ashkenazi, that when a person going to Gehenna, if someone say Mishnah in honor of him, or he studied before Mishnah, that will help that neshama, that Asher, the son of Yaakov, will take it out of Gehenna. He said, how did you come to that? It's a very simple, say Ari Kadosh. He said, look at the blessing that Yaakov Avinu bless his son. In Parashat Vayechi that we just finished to read 3 weeks ago, what does it say there? One of the blessings that Yaakov Avinu given Asher, what did he say to him? Me'asher shamna lahmo. We have to understand, according to the pshat of the Dvarim, that Asher, the blessing, that the prosperity that he have from the oil, that's going to be his bread from the oil. And we know that the territory of Asher was right in the north of Israel, where the olive tree grew. But say Ari Kadosh, that was a mystical rabbi, he said that's on a pshat of the Dvarim. Let's look a bit deeper into it. He said, take the word Asher. Asher is Asher, that's the son of Yaakov Avinu. Asher, okay. Shamna. What it means, Shamna? Shamna is Shemen, we explained. He said, turn the word around, you'll get the word Neshama. Lahmo, it's Lehem. He said that you learn from here that the bread of the Neshama, what is it? Is a Mishnah. When a person say Mishnah in honor of the deceased, or in the Yortzeit, the year of the Yortzeit, that's the bread that the Neshama in heaven eat. That means Mishnah is a bread for the Neshama, Rabotai. So you see from here, by that the person read a Mishnah, studying Mishnah, just now we'll get to it, what to study and which way to study. Say Ari Kadosh, that's the bread of what? Of the soul. The Mishnah is the bread for the soul. That's now by that you're saying Mishnah, you're actually rectifying the soul and helping the neshama to be uplifted up to heaven, to get to a better place in heaven. And not only that, that's the bread that the neshama need to help her to get out, has v'shalom, from Gehenna. I saw another thing that mentioned in the book Torah Or. Torah Or, it's a book that's been written by the Ultra Rebbe, Rabbi Shneur Zalman Miladi. He born in a city or in Belarus, not in a city, he born in Belarus around 275 years ago. And a matter of fact, the Ultra Rebbe, he started the Chabad movement. And he explained like this, listen to that, because that will help you a lot to understand one important thing. Because many people fight on the day of the Yortzeit to go and run, and it's very important to daven in a omed in the sake of the deceased. Listen what the Ultra Rebbe say and how he explained that. The Ultra Rebbe say like this, that when a person learn Mishnah in honor of the deceased, הוא תיקון גדול יותר מלהתפלל מלפני העמוד. I will explain. It means it's a better rectification than standing in the front of the Omed to daven. That means we know that many people in the Yortzeit, they want to go in the front and daven. Say the Ultra Rebbe like this. When you study Mishnah in honor of the deceased, that's even bigger merit, bigger zchut, than standing and davening in the front of the Omed. Do we understand that? Can you believe it? That means that the best thing to do for the deceased is to study Mishnah. There is nothing like Mishnah. Rabbi Akiva Iger, you all heard about the famous Rabbi Akiva Iger. He born in Austria around 261 years ago. 260 years ago. And he wrote in his will, listen to that, what he says in his will. After he will pass away, he asked his student, and he asked his friends, and he asked his member of his family to publicize in a newspaper. In that time, they didn't have the media that we have today. They have newspaper. And he asked to publicize that he passed away. And those people that know him, his friend, his student, whoever know him, that please, if they can say a Mishnah, a chapter of Mishnah every day in honor of his neshama for a year, and also in the Yortzeit. That means Rabbi Akiva Iger, who doesn't, those that study Rabbi Akiva Iger in a yeshivot understand what the great man he was, Rabbi Akiva Iger. And he asked in his will to ask people that know him, his friend, his student, that please, after he passed away, for the first 12 months, to study every day one chapter of Mishnah every day. And the same thing on the day of the Yortzeit. So we see from here how important is studying Mishnah. Now we have to understand what is to study Mishnah. So Rabbi Ovadia Hedia wrote the book, the famous book Yaskil Avdi. He born around 131 years ago in Syria. Just to give you a bit of history, in Syria was a great Jewish community, mainly in Halab. Halab, they call it Halab. By the way, the Gemara also mentioned it, and David HaMelech, it's mentioned that he was in Halab in Sefer Melachim. Why Halab? Halab, it's mean milk. The word Halab in Arabic mean milk. So in his book, Yaskil Avdi, in volume 6 on Yoreh De'ah, chapter 28, verse 5. Listen what he said. He said, עדיף ללמוד מעט משניות בהבנה, מאשר לקרוא הרבה משניות מבלי הבנה. What does it mean? It's better to study Mishnah, not a lot. Study whatever you can, but study it in depth and understanding. Then study many Mishnah, okay? And finishing a lot of Mishnayot without understanding what is the Mishnah mean. That means read the commentary, try to understand what's hiding behind every word in a Mishnah. That will help to rectify and help the neshama much more than people do a siyum. Many people come and say to me, I'm doing a siyum. And many times I ask those people, and I'm trying not to say it, I'm usually try not. They say, what are you saying, Rabbi? I'll tell you the truth. It's better not just to read the Mishnayot. It's better to read maybe 1 or 2 chapters in depth to understand what's hiding behind it. What is the Mishnah try to tell us to understand it? Then doing a siyum when you just read it. Masher Gerisa. Gerisa is just reading, going over it. So we see from here how important it is to learn a Mishnah with commentaries. And there's many mefarshim for the Mishnah. We know there is Rabbi Ovadia Mibartenua, a beautiful commentary. There is many Rabbonim that wrote a commentary on a Mishnah, the Rashi HaKadosh, and etc. There is so much that when you read the Mishnah, look in the depths of it. Why in the depths? Now we're going to have to understand why is the depths. Why is it so important, the depths? Hazal explained, when you're learning the depths of the Mishnah and you're understanding, for example, if you learn Masechet Avot, Masechet Rosh Hashanah, Masechet Shabbat, the Mishnah, when you try and you go in depth into it, what Hazal tried to tell us in the Mishnah Shebe'al Peh, as much that you diving depths into the translation, you polishing the neshama cleaner. What it means polishing the neshama? We explain what the Zohar say. The Zohar say that when you polishing the neshama, you actually peeling the shell. The shell is the averot that the person done. As much that you learn in depth, you purifying the soul. And now we understand how we have to study Mishnah in honor of the deceased. Now, Hazal tell us something very interesting in a Gemara in Masechet Rosh Hashanah, in page 32, folio 2. Hazal tell us in a Gemara there, Sifrei Hayim Umetim Niftahim B'Rosh Hashanah. The translation is, the book of life and the book of days are opening in Rosh Hashanah. And immediately all the Mefarshim ask, what's happening here? The book of life we understand. In Rosh Hashanah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu look all the deeds that we done, what we done all year around, how do we behave, what mitzvot we done, and how we act all year. And with that, he write us for L'chaim tovim or L'shalom. I don't want to say the other way. But many of the Farshim say, wait, that we understand, Sifrei Hayim. But why is it mentioned here Sifrei Metim? Sifrei Metim, the books of the deceased. Why do you have to open it? So one of the explanation is, Hazal explained like this. Our sages explain, it's to show what the people here that alive done in honor of the closer one that passed away. That means how much, Hazal saying, how much Torah that you study here on earth, how much Mishnah you study here on earth to help that neshama to be uplifted to a higher level in Gan Eden. That means Hazal tell us in a year of in a Rosh Hashanah, even the deceased get judged. Why they get judged? To see what the living done in honor of them. So he explained like this. He explained that the most important thing when you study Mishnah, you don't understand how much nachas, how much pleasure the deceased gain from learning Mishnah. So that means all year around, we can study Mishnah, even if the person died 100 years ago, 20 years ago. You take a day, one Mishnah, and you sit on it for 15 minutes, 10 minutes, depends how good you are. And you read it with the Mefarshim. Mefarshim is the commentary. That, by that you say, Le'ilui Nishmat, whoever is it, you uplift the Neshama to a higher level that you can't. Okay. Now, I'm going to move on to the next part. You know, many of us know that sometimes we dream about the deceased. And we see that the deceased coming to us in our dream. And what does it mean? what does it mean, and how we can help the deceased, and how we'll know if the deceased need help or not. So first of all, let me tell you one thing. As much that you learn Mishna, it's good for you, and I'll explain it now, and it's good for the deceased. So before I'm going to go to explain what's happened when the deceased come to us in a dream, reveal himself to us in a dream, I would like to just explain what's happening to us when we studying Mishnah. So the Zohar HaKadosh say, every night before a person go to sleep, he should study Mishnah. Why? Because we know that we human being, and human being make mistake. We all make mistake. By that you studying Mishnah, you polishing your neshama. And if you're polishing your neshama, you're peeling all of those walls, all of this distance that there is between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That means that we cleansing our neshama here on earth. That's the Zohar HaKadosh also explained. By that, he explained that we're learning Mishnah in the sake of the deceased, we cleansing his soul, so he can get a better place up in heaven. Okay? That we explained that. Let's move on and we'll see what's happening to the deceased if he appeared to us in his dream. So I'm going to bring the Baal HaTanya. Baal HaTanya, again, it's the Rabbi Shneur Zalman Miladi, the Ultra Rebbe, and he explained like this. And in a Tanya, in the book of the Tanya, many people think that Tanya is a simple book. So let me explain to you. You can learn the Tanya on a pshat, but if you learn it in depth, it's a book of Kabbalah. It's a Kabbalistic book, very, very depth book, that if you know how to learn it, you're learning Kabbalah. And not many people can learn the depths that the Kabbalah that there is in a Tanya. And said that the Ultra Rebbe, when you see the deceased appearing to you in your dream, and he show that he's actually cold, or he's hungry, or he's thirsty, or that he's tired, that means that deceased actually need help. What it means need help? That it means that his soul missing. I'll say it what he said, and then I will translate. Shehasirim lenishmato malbushim. What it means malbushim? That it's soul missing certain clothes. What it means certain clothes? That means he need help to rectify certain things that he done with them averot. That means the body, the soul. By that you're saying Mishnah in honor of him, or learning Torah in the sake of him, okay, or good deeds, that's what actually help him, the deceased that come to you in a dream, to get the proper clothes. What it means clothes? What the neshama, the parts that the neshama need. Because each one of us, some people can give tzedakah, but when it's come to gmilut hasadim, they're not so great. They don't have time. They're busy. So by that you're learning Mishnah, you're learning Torah in a sake of the deceased, you actually filling those little parts that he needs for his neshama, that we call him malbushim, that means a special light, and that light help to go up to heaven. That the neshama, when it's come up to heaven, it's completely bright and light. Also, Hazal explained that when we see the deceased in our dream, and the deceased wearing white clothes or clean clothes, okay, that's mean, and they're smiling, that's the most important. If you see that the deceased smiling to you and he's not cross, showing cross face or angry face, it's very important. You know that person that's smiling, that's deceased, not person, that's deceased, his neshama is doing well in heaven. Why? because smiling, it means that he's satisfied from the deeds that we're doing here on earth. Number two, when he wear white clothes, that it means he got all the clothes for his neshama. That means all the spark, all the light of the neshama now sparking. Number two, if he wear clean clothes, that means that it shows that his neshama now cleansed. What does it mean? We say that Gehenna is a washing machine, is a laundry that wash the neshama. By that we see that he wear clean clothes, it's to hint to us that we actually cleanse his neshama, or his neshama cleanse if it's a tzaddik. And how do you do that? By learning Mishnah. So what do you learn from here? Has v'shalom, if we see a person sad in a dream, or wearing dirty clothes, or wearing lo alenu dark clothes, it's to tell us that that person really need help. So you learn from here something very important, Rabotai, that the Mishnah that we sang in the house of the deceased, the Mishnah that a person read in honor of the deceased, in honor of his parents and the day of the Yortzeit, and etc. We do not understand how much that Mishnah cleanses the soul, how much that Mishnah help to rectify, what it means rectified, all the light that there is in a neshama, and help him to go up to heaven. So from here we learn that this custom that we know that Hazal constitute for us to learn Mishnah and to say the Mishnah, and sometimes to explain the Mishnah, some rabbi not just read it, explain also how important Mishnah, and especially decide to do it. This, a matter of fact, She'ul, I wrote last year. I wrote it, I start to write that She'ul last year in Chodesh Iyar, okay, after Pesach. And because all the COVID, I can never give it in public. I have to do few funeral, but I couldn't finish that show. And I finished that show, matter of fact, I think like 4 weeks ago, really. Because I needed to go to understand all the sources. It's a lot of words that Hazal bring that I didn't want to bring because it's very difficult to explain. It's a lot of mystical words that it's very difficult to understand. So what I done, I took the idea of what they say, like the light, and tried to bring it to us so we together can understand what does it mean, what is Mishnah doing to the soul. Now, many of us know, and many of us will say, listen, my parents, Aleim Shalom, passed 5, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, 20 years ago. Yes, nachon. But from what Hazal tell us in the Gemara in Masechet Rosh Hashanah, Lamed Bet Amud Bet 32 folio 2, that בראש השנה נפתחים ספרי חיים ומתים. Why did I brought it? That by that if you have a spare moment, every day, 5 minutes, that's all it takes, not even. You read a Mishnah in honor of those lovely parents, the beloved parents. What can you do to their soul? You have no idea. That means Mishnah can take a person out of Gehenna Mulen. That Asher, that is Job, the son of Yaakov Avinu. Me'asher shamna lachmo. If you change the word, you turn him around, you twist him, you'll get neshama. What is the food that the neshama need? What is the bread? Mishnah. That means when a person learns Mishnah, Rabotai, it's good for him, as we explained. Why? Because it's cleansed his neshama. Not only that, the deceased gets so much benefit from it that is food. The food that you can feed the neshama in heaven is Mishnah. Now we can understand how important is Mishnah and why our sages constitute for us to send a house of the deceased and a year of the Yortzeit, the day of the Yortzeit, to say Mishnah in the honor of the deceased. And Be'ezrat Hashem, now that we know all of that, that we should merit us here on earth to cleanse our soul by studying Mishnah. Not only that, to help those that passed away by studying Torah, by saying Mishnah. And once that we cleanse our soul and their soul, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help us to merit, to see Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our day. Amen, Ken Yehi Ratzon. Now, if any one of you want to ask question, I'm sure that you have plenty question, because I didn't want to make it too long, because usually we study only for 30 minutes, 40 minutes maximum on a Sunday. But if you have question, please unmute question. Bechavod.
I just want to
Hello,
thank
it's
you.
Ed.
Great year. Thank you,
Sorry.
Rob.
Who's speaking? Who's speaking?
It's Anthony. I just want to ask something.
Yeah. Bechavod.
What did Rabbi Akiva Eiger say again? Rabbi Akiva Eiger. What was his what?
Say again. What's the
You,
question?
you mentioned Rabbi Akiva Eiger, that he said something about the Mishnah.
Yes. So you want to know what he say in his will? That's what you asked.
Yes.
So in his will, he wrote that after he died, they should publicize in the newspaper that he asking in his will that people that know him, his student, his friends, should say a capital one chapter of Mishnah every day in his honor of his soul, and also in a day of the Yortzeit. You follow, Anthony?
Yes, thanks very much. And you know,
Okay,
we say Mishnah in the davening, Eilu Hadabarim, in the morning, Shachrit. Is that good enough?
Yeah, but you don't say in sake of that. That's part of the davening. Elu dvarim she'en lahem shi'ur. That's what you're referring to.
Yes.
No, you have to say Mishnah, because that's part of the davening. That's to help to cleanse your soul as a davener. But when you saying a Mishnah in honor of the deceased, it's a different thing. You have to cleanse his soul. You follow?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, good. Any other question? Mark, you wanted to ask something, Marky?
No, I wanted to thank you for a wonderful share.
Pleasure. Let's see what.
Sorry, Rabbi Levy? Yeah, so obviously the first year is more important for the Neshama, but obviously every year if one still learns after the Yortzeit, in the second year is still obviously relevant to the Mishnah. In the first year, the year of judgment, obviously one. But I mean, if one's still like my late dad, he's gone like 3 years. If I can still learn, and
That's beautiful.
he's obviously no end to learn.
But I explained, Stephen, that it's more important to learn a Mishnah on its depth, than just to read it. That means you take one chapter of Mishnah or one Mishnah, and you say Parshim, and you study the Mishnah, there's nothing better than that. Now, many people do Siyum Gemarot, it's all beautiful. But from the mystical rabbi explained, like Ari Kadosh, and we brought the source that for Midrash Talpiot, and it's brought in the name of Rabbi Eliezer Papu, and he bringing it in all different rabbis, that bringing it in the name of Ari Kadosh, that the word Mishnah, that's the soul, okay? And what is the bread for it? What is the neshama need? The neshama need one thing. What does it need? The bread of the neshama is Mishnah. By that you're learning Mishnah in honor of the deceased, and you're learning it in depth with Mefarshim.
Even after the year, I'm saying.
That is what means that is bread. That will help the neshama That's what helped the neshama to be cleansed, to be strong, to be complete soul, to remove all the averot that stopping them coming closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then you cleanse that neshama, and she can go up to heaven and sit closer to the Almighty, wherever her place in heaven. שנאמר,
So irrespective of the
כל
first year or not.
ישראל יש להם, כל ישראל יש להם חלק לעולם הבא.
So I'm saying the second year, third year, the first year is like the year of judgment. So obviously the second, third year, you know.
Believe me, if you say every year,
Yeah.
I'll tell you a personal story. My mom passed 8 years ago, my late mom. And me and my dad studying almost every day since then, Mishna. And I can assure you, we're trying to study every night. We're studying a Mishna in honor of my late mom.
Sure.
We're studying it with the Mephar. We're doing one Mishnah. We managed to finish because my dad loved Masechet Avot and I love it even more. I tell you, if I finish that Mishnah at least 20 times.
Sure.
And every
I do
time
check
I have a different
Rabbi.
Hiddush.
Yeah.
Sorry?
It's like a prayer time doing that, Rabbi, because the shoes are closed. So I've been doing like Kaddish for some people, and I'm saying Mishnah as well. So every day, like we do like a prayer kavod, so kind of quite. Yeah, so those guys who can't go to shul and say Kaddish, I've stepped up and so I'm saying a prayer kavod every day. Yeah, that's right.
No. So what I'm trying to tell you, that the Mishnah, that's the bread for the soul. What it means, the bread for the soul? The soul doesn't eat. We are. The soul is inside our body. To keep our body alive, we need to eat. The soul needs a Mishnah. By that you studying Mishnah, that can help the neshama to be cleansed, number one. Number two, to get all the light that she's missing, because the averot that we done, those light that we put down, because we make averot, that Mishnah help us to uplift the neshama up to heaven. So when the neshama come to heaven, she have all the light, she's cleansed, and now she can understand what HaKadosh Baruch Hu and what the tzaddikim in the world, in Olam Haba, teaching and speaking about. Otherwise, imagine that you go into a lecture, lahavdil, a million times, you go into a lecture in Chinese, but you don't speak Chinese. What will you hear? I mean, after 2 minutes, you're going to be bored. What you're doing to neshama by that you're studying Mishnah, you bringing all the sparks, all of those light that light the beautiful neshama, that she can understand what they're talking up in the world to come. And you cleansing it, and you building that beautiful neshama back.
That includes tzedakah as well, really. Tzedakah, Gemilas Chassidim, including tzedakah, Gemilas Chassidim,
learning Torah, for sure.
But
Mishnah,
the main one.
that's the secret. Mishnah. That's what I said, the importance of learning Mishnah in
So Parsha is right, but Mishnah is more higher level, as you say. Okay. Parsha and Gemara. Okay.
Yeah, but to study it with depth.
Yeah,
That's
the
the most important. Rabota, if anyone has a question, I don't mind. If you want to ask question, with pleasure. Anyone want to ask question regarding studying Mishnah in honor of the deceased? No. Okay, Rabotai, to wish you all, I hope that you enjoyed the show, to wish you all a good night, and I hope to see you again on Thursday. Just want to remind you that on Thursday is Tu B'Shvat. Remember Tu B'Shvat?
Yes.
Maybe I don't. Yeah, but the problem is, I don't know if to make a show on Tu B'Shvat or on Parshat HaShavua. Because, okay, let's see. Maybe I'll do half-half, and we'll see how I'm going to plan it. I'm going to plan something, maybe just to say something quick about Tu B'Shvat, that to introduce Tu B'Shvat, and then we'll start with Parshat HaShavua Be'ezrat Hashem. So in the meantime, to wish all of you a great evening. Keep safe. Look after yourself. Please be careful. The number's still high. I know that they dropped a little bit, but the number's still high. Keep safe. Keep well. Use all the facility to keep yourself guard. That means wash your hands, sanitize, whatever. I'm not a doctor, but Rabotai, just the last 3 days. Yeah, the last 3 days, I got a number of people that died from COVID, that the children phoned me, Rabbi, my granny died from COVID, my parents died from COVID. It's not a joke. It's a plague that we have. As I mentioned at the beginning of that plague when we started, I don't know how many of you remember, we done a shi'ur in Masechet Baba Kama, Dever Ba'ir Kanes, you remember, to explain how dangerous and when there is plague, that we all just have to dive into HaKadosh Baruch Hu to remove that plagues that there is at the moment in the world, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will have mercy on the Jewish people and those that are not Jewish, because the whole soul of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So please be careful, keep whatever you have to keep, wear the mask, hygiene as much as you can, sanitize as much as you can, and Be'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will say enough to this angel of death and will take out this disease from where it's come. As it's come, it must disappear Be'ezrat Hashem speedily in our days. Meantime, have a good night and hope to see you again on Thursday. All the best.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, Rolf. Thank you very much.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye. Bye.